गौरी नंदन गजानना गौरी नंदन गजानना गिरिजानंदन निरंजना गिरिजानंदन निरंजना हे गौरी नंदन गजानना गिरिजानंदन निरंजना पार्वती नंदन शुभानना पार्वती नंदन शुभानना पाहि प्रभो मां पाहि प्रसन्ना पाहि प्रभो मां पाहि प्रसन्ना गौरी नंदन गजानना गौरी नंदन गजानना गिरिजानंदन निरंजना गिरिजानंदन निरंजना पार्वती नंदन शुभानना पार्वती नंदन शुभानना पाहि प्रभो मां पाहि प्रसन्ना पाहि प्रभो मां पाहि प्रसन्ना गौरी नंदन गजानना गिरिजानंदन निरंजना काली महेश्वरी शंकरी पार्वती काली महेश्वरी शंकरी पार्वती शरणं 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 मां शरणं 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 मां काली महेश्वरी पार्वती शंकरी काली महेश्वरी पार्वती शंकरी शरणं 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 मां शरणं 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 मां दुर्गति नाशिनी दुर्गा जय जय दुर्गति नाशिनी दुर्गा जय जय काल विनाशिनी काली जय जय काल विनाशिनी काली जय जय शरणं 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 मां शरणं 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 मां वाणी वीणा पाणी जय जय वाणी वीणा पाणी जय जय वागीश्वरी जगदीश्वरी जय जय वागीश्वरी जगदीश्वरी जय जय शरणं 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 मां शरणं 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 मां उमा रमा ब्रह्माणि जय जय उमा रमा ब्रह्माणि जय जय राधे सीता रुक्मिणी जय जय राधे सीता रुक्मिणी जय जय शरणं 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 मां शरणं 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 मां काली महेश्वरी पार्वती शंकरी काली महेश्वरी पार्वती शंकरी शरणं 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 मां शरणं 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 मां दुर्गति नाशिनी दुर्गा जय जय दुर्गति नाशिनी दुर्गा जय जय काल विनाशिनी काली जय जय काल विनाशिनी काली जय जय शरणं 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 मां शरणं 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 मां वाणी वीणा पाणी जय जय वाणी वीणा पाणी जय जय वागीश्वरी जगदीश्वरी जय जय वागीश्वरी जगदीश्वरी जय जय शरणं 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 मा शरणं 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 मा कुमारमा ब्रह्माणि जय जय कुमारमा ब्रह्माणि जय जय राधे सीता रुक्मिणी जय जय राधे सीता रुक्मिणी जय जय शरणं 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 मा शरणं 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 मा शरणं 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 मा शरणं 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 मा जगदोधारिणी माता दुर्गा जगदोधारिणी माता जगदोधारिणी माता दुर्गा जगदोधारिणी माता जागो जागो माँ जागो जागो माँ जागो जागो माँ जननी जागो जागो माँ जागो जागो माँ जागो जागो माँ जननी हे गौरी देवी रणचंडी देवी हे शिवरमणी जागो माँ हे गौरी देवी रणचंडी देवी हे शिवरमणी जागो माँ हे शिवरमणी जागो माँ हे शिवरमणी जागो माँ जगदोधारिणी माँ जगदोधारिणी माँ जगदोधारिणी माता दुर्गा जगदोधारिणी माँ त्रिपुर सुंदरी माँ अम्बदया सागरी माँ त्रिपुर सुंदरी माँ अम्बदया सागरी माँ सुंदर वदनी माँ अम्ब सुगुण मनोहरी माँ सुंदर वदनी माँ अम्ब सुगुण मनोहरी माँ जय जग जननी माँ अम्ब जगदोधारिणी माँ जय जग जननी माँ अम्ब जगदोधारिणी माँ अम्ब जगदोधारिणी माँ जय जग जननी माँ अम्ब जगदोधारिणी माँ परम पावनी माँ अम्ब पाप विमोचनी माँ परम पावनी माँ अम्ब पाप विमोचनी माँ त्रिपुर सुंदरी माँ अम्ब दया सागरी माँ त्रिपुर सुंदरी माँ अम्ब दया सागरी माँ सुंदर वदनी माँ अम्ब सुगुण मनोहरी माँ सुंदर वदनी माँ अम्ब सुगुण मनोहरी माँ जय जग जननी माँ अम्ब जगदोधारिणी माँ जय जग जननी माँ अम्ब जगदोधारिणी माँ अम्ब जगदोधारिणी माँ जय जग जननी माँ अम्ब जगदोधारिणी माँ परम पावनी माँ अम्ब पाप विमोचनी माँ परम पावनी माँ अंब पाप विमोचनी मा ओम शक्ति ओम शक्ति ओम शक्ति ओम शक्ति ओम शक्ति ओम शक्ति इच्छा शक्ति ज्ञान शक्ति क्रिया शक्ति ओम 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 ब्रह्मा शक्ति विष्णु शक्ति शिव शक्ति ओम ब्रह्मा शक्ति विष्णु शक्ति शिव शक्ति ओम नारायण नारायण जय जय गोविंद हरे नारायण नारायण जय जय गोपाल हरे नारायण नारायण जय जय गोविंद हरे नारायण नारायण जय जय गोपाल हरे गोविंद हरे जय जय गोपाल हरे गोविंद हरे जय जय गोपाल हरे नारायण नारायण जय जय गोविंद हरे नारायण नारायण जय जय गोपाल हरे नारायण नारायण जय जय गोविंद हरे नारायण नारायण जय जय गोविंद हरे नारायण नारायण जय जय गोपाल हरे नारायण नारायण जय जय गोपाल हरे
Hariom Swamiji, we can start.
Yeah. Okay. 1 minute. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Satgurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahmavidvaram Manojavam Marutatullya Begam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanarayutamukhyam Sri Ramadutam Sirasa Namami Santoshini Jaganmata Mama Saubhagyavriddhaye Namaskaromi Bhaktya Tvam Prasanna Varada Bhava Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kridau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Om Namah Pranavarthaya Shuddha-jnanaikamurtaye Nirmalaya Prashandaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Satchitanandarupaya Vishyopatyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha Nilam Bhujasyamalako-malangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Panau Mahasayaka Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvamshanatham. So we have seen yesterday Swami Tapovanam Maharaj, our Param Guru, introduce the Badrinath, the Lord of Badri. That Badrinath is installed in Badri, Chicago also. Same Badrinath. So you don't have to make pilgrimage to Badrinath all the way. So our Gurudev made it easy for us to have darshan of Badrinath here itself in America. So that then the prayer of Param Guru was that let my mind revel in the flow of my love towards you, like a fish enjoying the stream. So may my mind revel in you, in the lotus feet of you. This was the prayer. Now, having said that, now we'll see the third verse. Yathanuraktir bhavatongrimule bhaktanukambasya bhavartiharin tadhatra karmatha rajayogaha sukhena naivonnamayet pumamsam. Yatha, just as anurakti, constant devotion, bhavataha angrimule, at the lotus feet of yourself, bhavataha angrimule, your lotus feet, bhaktanukampasya bhavartiharin, you are the bhava artiharin. You are the destroyer of samsara. O Lord, you are the destroyer of samsara. Now, samsara is when we appreciate or we recognize the limitation at the body level, mind level, intellectual level. These three levels, we start feeling the limitations. That makes you a samsari. Physically, we are limited. We cannot be in two places at one time. You want to attend the lecture, but at the same time, you are invited for a party. So you have to make choice whether you should be here or in the party. So this is limitation of the body. And body has got so many other limitations also. And healthy, unhealthy, that problem, this problem, etc. All those things are there. Emotionally also we are limited. So emotionally, because we are subject to ragadveshas. I like this, I don't like this. We are not free from these limitations of ragadveshas. Intellectually also we are limited. Our ideologies are not absolute. They are limited. So these limitations at these three levels, the more you recognize, more you suffer. And that is a lakshana of progress also, actually. Once you recognize this, you are showing progress in spirituality. Until you recognize this, you will not show progress in spirituality. Therefore, our author here says that you are the destroyer of this samsara, because the one who is illumining the limitations, the Lord, the consciousness, is the one that is illumining the sense of limitation. How are you aware of it? How come you know about it? So this very fact that I know my limitation is being illumined by consciousness. That consciousness, being free from limitations, it is infinite, is capable of destroying it. So that is why he says, destroyer of samsara. Then devotion to thy feet. Now the touching the feet is a custom in our culture. Touching the elders' feet, touching the feet of the Guru and Mahatmas, etc. This is our custom. So this is because the feet is what they stand for. Feet represent, symbolizes the principle or the truth upon which they stand. We cannot reach their heart or head, but at least touch the feet. So that hope is that we will reach where they are, what they stand for. So we are not touching the feet of somebody. We are touching the principle upon which they are standing. They stand for certain principle. And that principle is what we admire and revere. So this is Ankrimulam, the devotion to thy feet. And then this Pavanji, recognizing the natural difficulties of ordinary student to walk the path of knowledge, is now glorifying the path of devotion. Because devotion he consider is easier path, which he's going to tell later. And later in the sense, the next verse, I think he is going to sell. But here he is indicating that devotion is an easier path. And because to concentrate, to inquire into the teaching, these are all, you need some rational intellect. And some people may not have that kind of ability. But here our Tapoji Maharaj says, you be devoted to the Lord. That is enough. Everything else will come to you automatically. So this is his advice. And there is a story. There was a great saint, Namdev. He was a great devotee of Bhagavan Vitthal. And Jnaneshwar Maharaj also was there. He was a great yogi and a jnani. The one who wrote commentary on Bhagavad Gita, Jnaneshwari. And he had also yogic powers. And he was able to move a mud wall to greet a yogi. He was sitting on a mud wall. That mud wall itself started moving. And that kind of power he had. So he was a Mahayogi. And one day Jnanadev Maharaj told Namdev, let us go out and see Bhagavan's glory everywhere. Why are you sitting here in Pandharpur all the time? Let us go. And Namdev Maharaj said, I am very happy with Pandharpur, looking at Bhagavan Vitthal. I don't want to go anywhere. And he said, you go and ask Bhagavan. If we give you permission, then you will go. And they used to converse with Bhagavan. So he went and asked Vitthal Bhagavan, can I go? This Jnaneshwar Maharaj is asking me to go. So he said, yeah, go and see. My glory everywhere. Why are you just sitting here? Go out with him and enjoy. So Bhagavan also gave permission. And they went and traveled all over the country. And one place, and in between, Dhaneshwar Maharaj used to tell him, why don't you learn some yoga? I will teach you some Hatha Yoga so that it will help you. He said, I don't want anything. I am just devoted to Bhagavan. That is all. He will provide me everything. So that Vishwas he had. So one day it so happened that they were so thirsty and there was no water around. And then they saw in a jungle, they saw a well. And in that well, deep in the well, there was water. Now, Jnaneshwar Bhagavan, a yogi, he went down and with the Sukshma, what you call, Sharira, he went and then drank water and came back. Then he told, see, I told you, you should have learned some yoga, then you could have quenched your thirst now by the method of yoga. And Namdev Maharaj said, not necessary. I will see. I will just pray to Bhagavan. You will see. And Namdev Maharaj started praying to Vittal Bhagavan. And lo, what happened? After some time, the water came up for him to drink. This is the beauty of bhakti. With your bhakti, Bhagavan is the one who provides everything for you. And he is right here with you. He is not far away. You don't have to go to Pandharpur or anywhere. He is the most evident. The one who doesn't have to be proved. The one who is always with you. That is that Paramatma, the consciousness in us, the awareness in us. And that our Param Guru says that Bhakti Yoga is superior. Now here itself he has said that, yes. Bhakti Yoga is superior. Raja Yoga, Karmathajar Raja Yoga Sukhena Naivonnamayet Pumamsam. Yes. Tathatra Karmathaja Raja Yoga Sukhena Naivonnamayet Pumamsam. So compared to Karma Yoga and Raja Yoga, Karma Yoga is, you all know that Bhagavad Gita talks about it. Bhagavad Gita is the one who introduced Karma Yoga. Karma performed with Yoga Buddhi. Yoga Buddhi means Ishwararpana Buddhi and the Prasada Buddhi. These are the two attitude with which you perform the karma is Karma Yoga. And Raja Yoga is, here Swamiji has given meditation, path of meditation, Dhyana Yoga. So compared to this, our Param Guru says, Bhakti is better. Because Karma Yoga also, you have to have Bhakti. The problem is, in both the yoga, Karma Yoga or Raja Yoga, you have to have Bhakti. That is why in 12th chapter in Bhagavad Gita, so dedicated to Bhakti Yoga. But the Shankaracharya writes there, Bhakti as a special path is not given in Vedas. Bhakti has to be practiced in all yogas. If you are a Karma Yogi, you have to be a Bhakta. Without Bhakta, you cannot perform Karma Yoga. You cannot be a Karma Yogi. Because you have to accept Ishvara. And Ishvara is the Karmadhala Thata. That you have to accept. So this acceptance has to be there. Then only Karma Yoga is possible. And if you are a Jnana Yogi, Jnani can think about Bhagavan only when you have devotion. That's why in Kaivalya Upanishad, Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yogat Avaihi. So you come to know this truth with Shraddha. Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yogat. So Bhakti, there it is mentioned in that Upanishad. But other Upanishads, you don't see Bhakti word is mentioned. But Bhakti is required for all paths. Whether you are a Hatha Yogi, or you are a Dhyana Yogi, or you are a Raja Yogi, or you are a Ashtanga Yogi, whatever be your path, but Bhakti is required. Means what? Love is required. Without love, you will not be able to practice any of the path. So therefore, here our Param Guru says, Bhakti Yoga is better than Karma Yoga and Raja Yoga. Path of devotion. Because where love is, there the mind automatically reaches. To a lover, thinking of his beloved is no effort at all. If you love your child, automatically your mind goes there. So this is natural, something that is natural. So therefore, who is ever ready to bless the devotee? Bhagavan here says, Bhavartihari, Bhaktanukambasya Bhavartiharim. So Yadhanurektir Bhavatongri Mule, Bhaktanukambasya Bhavartiharim. Bhagavan is ready to bless anybody. And his blessing is always there with us. And there is a quote here, our Gurudev is says that Mundaka Upanishad is quoting, Yame Vaiva Vrunute Tena Labhya Tassesha Atma Vivrunute Tanum Swam. So, Mundaka Upanishad says, he alone gains the infinite whom he chooses. That we should have that tivra desire, the intense desire to know him. So even though we are studying Upanishad, Brahma Sutra and Gita, all this Prasthana Trayi we are studying, but do we entertain the intense desire for moksha? That is what makes the difference. The one who exclusively discern the problem and exclusively entertain the desire for moksha, that alone I want, nothing else. To that person, Bhagavan reveals. That is what it says. So Bhagavan's blessing is there. But the question is, do you want him or not? So we are ready for him or what? This is what makes the difference. So that is what it said. He is ever ready to bless his devotees. Bhagavan is ever ready to bless his devotee. But then, do you want to receive the blessing? Are you ready for him? This is what, no, Swamiji, we have a few things to do. So suppose somebody some Mahatma comes and tell you, I will give you moksha to everybody. Everybody close your eyes, I will give you moksha. But then, are you ready for it? You will say, wait. I have a few things. So this is the difference. So this, we are not choosing God. Our Swamiji writes here, we are not choosing Ram, we are choosing Kama. So we are choosing Kama, not Rama. That is the problem. So path of love is easy and effortless because there is least chance of distraction. So this is the advice of our Param Guru to all devotees. Now, having said that, continuing, Dhyayami te manjula rupametat vyayama bhumir manaso mamastu Rishitvayeno Davayakshabhushida Surarshibhichapyupalakshitam yate. Here, the Dhyayami, I meditate te, yours, thy Manjula Rupam, effulgent form. Etat Vyayama Bhumihi, reveling ground. This reveling ground, Mama Manasaha, my mind astu. Now, a devotee, even in devotion also, you want to think of the Lord of your heart. You want to think of Him. Now, when you want to think of Him, what happened? You will be able to retain that form for a few minutes. A few minutes itself is very great. But afterwards, now even in sitting for meditation, you close your eyes gently and then think of your Ishtadevata, it is said. Now you can put a picture in front or an idol in front. You look at the idol or a picture for some time, then close your eyes and then try to retain that form in your mind for some time. And then chant your mantra. This is how the meditation classes you must have heard. Now you try to do that. What happens is mind get distracted. The form will not be able to, you will not be able to retain the form. And mind gets distracted. Now here, our Param Guru, Tapovan Maharaj says that even if it distracts, it doesn't matter. Let it go to other deities. So here in Badrinath, it seems, there are, besides Badrinath, there are other deities also there. Uddhava, and then Narada and Kubera. So this Kubera is Alakapuri. So his place is very close to our Badrinath, according to Puranas. So Kubera is also there. And Kubera reminds you of Bhagwan's Aishwaryam, glories. Kubera is the treasurer or a banker for the gods. So he is very rich. So Bhagwan Vibhuti. According to this Venkateshwara story, Venkateshwara, it seems, he borrowed money from Kubera. Kubera's, now it seems he borrowed for his marriage to get married to Padmavati. And Kubera is such a loan shark. And it seems even now our Venkateshwara is paying only interest, not the capital he is not able to pay, yet only interest is paying. So much money is collected there, but he is only paying the interest. Such a loan shark he is, our Kubera. Then Uddhava. Uddhava was the greatest devotee and friend of Krishna. And Uddhava's story is there in Bhagavatam. He was Brihaspati's student and childhood friend of Krishna. He never played with toys. He played with Krishna idol, it seems. And he became the minister and friend of Krishna in his court, Krishna's court. And such an intelligent devotee of Bhagavan. And towards the end, Bhagavan, before departing, gave him the great teaching called Uddhava Gita. Very elaborate teaching is there. Like how Krishna gave teaching in the battlefield to Arjuna, the same way Bhagavan gave teaching to Uddhava towards the end of his life. So that Uddhava's Pradishta is also there in Badrinath. Then we have Narada. Narada story is also there in Bhagavatam. He is the greatest devotee and the one who propagate Bhagavan's glory everywhere. And his whole aim is to Kenapi Margena Manakrishne Nivedayed. Somehow bring the mind of people to Bhagavan Krishna. Any method is allowed. That is why he is very mischievous, because his intention is to bring the mind to Bhagavan. So all these three deities are there. So indirectly, our Param Guru says that if the mind get distracted, let it get distracted on these people, the devotees of Bhagavan. So then what happened? It will not be a distraction. It will remind you of their stories and their devotion, their sacrifice, etc. So those things you will get reminded. And that is why our Vyasa acharya has written many Puranas. So this, whenever the mind gets distracted, the stories are written for that purpose alone. To make the mind, because mind wants always varieties. Mind cannot stay in one thing. It seeks varieties. So every day you eat dal rice, you feel get tired. So today let us try some Chinese. Like this, there is the tendency comes. So mind has got this tendency to look for varieties. And that is why, and that variety is to be provided. Otherwise it gets frustrated and it starts revolting. And as a result of that, what happened? We give up practice of meditation. We give up. Slowly gap comes. One day you will be lazy and might make you feel lazy. You won't get up. And like that, it revolt. It has got so many tricks in its pocket. So it will use all of them and to distract you. So therefore, understanding the mind, studying the mind, and give the mind a certain diversion. And diversion is in such a way that it is not missing the Lord. It is all related to the Lord. That is why the stories are given. So Bala Leela of Bhagavan, Bhagavan's childhood, what you call play, sports, that if you read, you get attracted to the childhood innocence. And those beautiful episodes, etc., you will remember. And then afterwards, grown up also, then what he did, all those things you will start thinking. And that will become another way of meditation. So this is how we should utilize the mind. So give direction to the mind. So mind cannot be controlled. The moment you try to control the mind revolts. What is to be done? You direct the mind. So this direction, slowly direct the mind towards that. This is what is indicated by the Rishidvayeno Tavayakshabhukshid Surarshibhir Chapyubalakshitam Yate. Rishidvayena, two great rishis, Uddhava and Yaksha Bhukshit, along with Kubera, Yaksharaj, Surarshibhi, Narada. So this Narada, Uddhava, Bhagavan told Uddhava, you go and meditate upon me in Badri Ashram. So he advised him to go. So Uddhava came carrying Bhagavan's Paduka, like Bharata carried Paduka the same way. Uddhava also carried Paduka of Bhagavan. And it is believed that he is still in meditation in Badri Ashram. For the welfare of the whole world, he is meditating. So, Dhyayami te manjula rupame tat dhyayama bhumir manaso mamastu. So, this effulgent form of Bhagavan, Badrinath, along with Kubera and Narada and the, what you call, Uddhava, I meditate upon. So that this is the distraction. Whenever the mind wants some change, so you can think of some other god or some other devotee. So that way mind also gets some distraction. At the same time, it will not leave the Lord. May this thy glorious form be my mind reveling ground. So whatever be the method I use, let my mind leave not you. That is the idea. O my Lord, may thy temple be the reveling ground of my mind. So when you think of Badrinath Kshetra, the sanctum sanctorum, and suppose the mind want to leave that, then you take the mind to Uddhava or Narada or Yasharaj, our the Kubera. So this way, you give some distraction to the mind at the same time, revel in the glory of Bhagavan. This is one method of meditation or worshipping the Lord or Manasa Puja. Continuing. Ajadavadena jasishti drishtihi vadena januttamashe mushiga yathama samyak pratipattumichanti etatvameva triguna gunatman pratipattumichanti etatvameva triguna gunatman. Ajadavada. Now, in our Shastra, there are two main vadas are there. Two type of arguments about Srishti. Whenever there is Srishti, Srishti means creation, there are so many theories are there. According to Gaudavada Acharya, he says there are 82 different theories are there. And all of them, he says, they are being theory, they are not real. They don't hold good for argument. When you start arguing, it cannot stand logical argument. So, our Taponji Maharaj is pointing out two main vadas here. One is Ajatavada. Another is Drishti Srishti Vada. These two vadas is pointing out here. Ajatavadena ja Srishti Drishtihi. Srishti Drishti Vadena Jad Uttama So Mushigaha. Great intellectual. Uttamam, supreme, great intellectuals. That supreme truth which the great intellectuals struggle to understand and explain. through theories of Ajadavada and Srishti Drishtivada. The people are trying to prove, the high intellectuals. One is Ajadavada. Ajadavada means Mandukya Kariga. Gaudapada Acharya says there is no Srishti. There is no creation. The creation is all imagination. There is no real creation. He gives example also from the standpoint of rope. Where is snake? The snake is only in your mind. So that is the very perception itself is a great theory, great study in our scriptures. The theory of perception. What is perception? Itself is a big study. Our rishis have analyzed and studied everything in our creation. And also mostly subjectively, they have studied everything. So when you see a rope, if you see a rope, there is no problem. But you see something because of darkness. You see something and mistake it for snake. And why snake? Because snake, you have seen it before. And that memory of the snake is retained in your mind. And when something similar you see, you project your memory upon that thing and jump saying that this is snake. So you are not seeing what is there. You are seeing what is in your mind. This is called the world. The world is also, you see, as you want, which is in your mind. So, Gaudapada Acharya says, from the standpoint of rope, there is no srishti of snake. There is no creation of snake. So too, from the standpoint of Brahman, there is no creation. Teenon kala mein nahi, whether waking, dream or deep sleep. There is no creation at all. And what is it? It is all at the level of the mind, imagination, like a dream. Dream is a projection of your mind. And you wake up from the dream, then dream disappears without a trace. Now this is called Ajadavada. And it is said that Drishti Srishti Vada is Srishti Drishti Vada is as long as your ego is there, the world is there. Like in the dream, as long as you see the dream world, the world of dream is there. The moment that ego gets up or go to deep sleep, the dream also disappears. So that is why our Ramana Maharshi says in Saddarshanam, Diya saho dedi diyastameti. When the buddhi or ego rises, the whole world rises. The ego goes to sleep, dissolve into sleep, and then what happened? The whole world also disappears. So the creation is as long as you see it. The moment you stop seeing it, it is no more there. So it is all dependent upon our ego, ahankara. So all of them, people have tried through all these intellectuals who have propounded this theory. They tried to point out you. Our author says, they are trying to point out you, but you are the Lord who is free from all the gunas. All the sattva, rajas, tamas, all these are gunas are at the level of mind. In fact, mind has got all these three gunas. And mind is three gunas only. And you are beyond these three gunas. The Lord is beyond the three gunas. Consciousness is beyond the three gunas. In fact, he is the one illumining these three gunas. So, and that truth, that consciousness in every one of us has awareness, the touch of life in all of us. And that is Badrinath, Badrisha. Zet Gunatma Saddhama Samyak Pratipattumachanna Chanti Edattvameva Triguna Gunatman. That Lord of the three gunas, at once the one who transcends all the gunas. And that Lord is none other than Badrisha. Continuing. The idea is the truth, which is controversial, confusing, and difficult to express, is very readily available for bhaktas because he comes to recognize it directly as the very reality signified by the Lord of Badri. So for a bhakta, it is very easy. He doesn't have to worry about ajada, vada, drishti, sishtivada, etc. For him, he sees Badrinath, that is his Lord, who is beyond gunas. That is the idea of the fifth verse. Now continuing. Vishnu Shiva Shri Kamala Chadurga Ganesha Khasresha Mukhaschayo Yemi Deva Samasta Kaluyat Vibhuti Bhumanavastam Badarisham Tam Badarisham Ide. I prostrate to the Lord Badri, Lord of Badri. Now, whose yet vibhuti umanava, an infinitesimal portion of whose glory as is the entire pantheon of gods. Vishnu, Shankara, Lakshmi, Durga, Ganesha, Surya, and others. Now, this is very beautifully given in Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga, describing everything. Bhagavan said, I am this, I am this. Wherever there is some glory or beauty is there, Bhagavan said, I am that. And finally, he said, what to talk about? So many things. Athava bahunetena kim jnatena tavarjuna vishtabhyahamidam krishnam ekamsena stito jagate. I support the whole creation 1/10 of myself. What to talk about so many things. Ekam shena sthido. Ekam shena sthido jagate. In Purusha Sukta also Bhagavan says, Atyatishtat dashankulam. I stand 10 inches above the creation. Then Padosya Vishwabhutani. So 1/4 of myself has gone into the creation. I support the entire creation. 1/4 of myself. So here also our Param Guru says that, O Badrinath, your glory is such that a small portion, a small drop. Tulsidas also says the same way in Ramayana. He says that Rama, that Ananda Kanaha, is the mass of Ananda, and a drop of that Ananda from that total is enough to satisfy the entire creation. The entire creation, 84 lakhs of species in this creation, all of them will be able to be satisfied with that one drop from Bhagavan, Ananda. So that is the greatness of Bhagavan. So here also, that same Ananda is being explained here. Vishnu, Shiva, Sri, Kamala, Durga, all these deities that we are worshipping, Vishnu, Shankara, Lakshmi, Durga, Ganesha. Now here we have to make one clear here, otherwise you will get confused. Brahman, attributeless Satchidananda Swarupa, Paramatma, is one. And that Brahman power is called Maya. When Brahman identify with Maya, is called Ishvara. That Ishvara has got all the omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. All these attributes are given to Ishvara. Why? Because it is with Maya. Brahman himself is not omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. Omnipresent, yes, but not omnipotent, omniscient. That comes only with association of Maya. Now once is associate, that Ishvara is the one, according to the activities, Srishti, Sthiti, Samhara, he assumes the form of Brahmaji, Vishnu, Ishvara. And that is what is said. So we are, Badrisha is addressed as Brahman. The ultimate, the one who is beyond three gunas. Three gunas means Maya, beyond Maya. And from that Paramatma alone, these deities have come for our worship. Who is that? Vishnu, Shankara, Lakshmi, Durga, Ganesha, Surya. Vishnu is this maintenance. Shankara is destroyer. And the Durga, and then Surya, Vishnu, Shankara. Here Brahmaji is not mentioned. Brahmaji also there. Understood. Lakshmi, Durga, Ganesha, Surya, and others. So all these deities, they all came out of that small portion. It is infinitesimal portion. Infinitesimal portion. infinitesimal portion of whose glory these people have come. So that shows Brahman is ultimate truth. Beyond him, there is nothing. And that truth is consolidated, is this Badrisha that we should worship. Continuing. Yeah. Srajafanindra samuteti yadvat tathaiva yasmat kajalaniladi jagat samuttishtati yatra chaitate viliyate tam badarishamide. Sragaha fanindraha samudeti yadvad tathacha eva yasmat kajalaliladi jagat samuttishtati yatra edat viliyate. Now my adoration to Tam Badarisham Ide. My adoration to that Badarisha, from whom the world made up of, now the creation is given Akasha, Vayu, Tasmat, Va, Etasmat, Akasha Sambhutaha, Akashat, Vayu, Vayor, Agnihi, Agnirapaha, Abhya Prithvi, Prithivya, Oshadayaha, Oshadibhyo, Annam, Annat Purusha. This is the Sistik Krama. In Taittiriya Upanishad, Sistik Krama is given in the Brahmanandavalli. So here also our author here says, from whom this space, water, air and so on. Kajalaniladi. Space, air, fire, water, earth. So these are the Panchabhutas. That has come from Paramatma. Identifying with Maya, Prakriti. Yatha tatha eva yasmat kajalaniladi jagat samuttishtati. Now how it has come? Just as appearance and disappearance of a vision upon serpent, vision of serpent upon a garland of flowers. So there it was rope, now here it is garland. A garland of flowers is lying down on the ground. If you don't see it properly, suddenly you jump up and say, there is a snake. How that snake rose from the garland, innocent garland of flowers. And when you discover that it is garland of flowers, how the snake disappeared. It is not that snake slowly crawled away. No. It disappeared instantly. So the same way, the creation also, it is all in imagination of our mind. Shankaracharya says in Vivek Chudamani, mind is nothing but Maya. Our mind is a representation of Maya. So you don't have to worry about Maya. What you have to worry about is only our mind. Mind has got the capacity to create so many things. If you have any doubt, you go to this one of the mental institutions, mental hospital. There you see each patient has got their own imagination. They create what you call images and then react to it. They behave like that. And it is very difficult to get out. They themselves are caught up in that. The same way, we are all in the dream, as it were, we are in the dream of Paramatma. So, Sajappanindra Samudedi Yadyat Tadeva Yasmat Kajalaniladi. So, how the snake risen from the garland of flowers, the same way the entire Panchabhutas, Akasha, Vayu, Raktinapa, Prithvi, and the Jivas, they all rose from that innocent Paramatma who has nothing to do with it. And that Paramatma is your real nature. Everything else is apparent. It has no real existence. And that part he will tell you later. That Paramatma being our nature, and we have mistaken ourselves to be Jiva and come to suffer the samsara. This is a wonder of all wonder. So the example is dream world. Dream example is very well used in Mandukya Tarika. It compares dream to waking. And without dream example, you will never be able to prove the falsity of this world. So in the dream, you create your own world. And you yourself become part of it. That is the beauty about it. So it is a projection of your own mind. Now, the next verse, our Param Guru is going to talk about the famous statement in Taittiriya Upanishad, Pravesha Suti. Tasrishtva tadeva pravishate tadanupravishya. That particular Suti, our Guru is going to talk. We will see that tomorrow. Okay. Thank you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.